Step out of the truck. Now. The command shattered the quiet San Diego night. Navy SEALs Malik Anderson and Tiana Burke, warriors tempered by war, suddenly found themselves shoved, cuffed, and humiliated on home soil. Officer Trent Mallory's badge flashed beneath street lamps as he spun lies destined to wreck lives. He didn't know his swaggering abuse was about to collide with an admiral's fury. Stay until the end. Drop your city. The night had begun simple and blissful, the rare, calm operator's chase. Malik and Tiana relaxed in a cracked vinyl booth at Rosa's kitchen, a humble Mexican spot near San Diego's eastern fringe. Water-stained paintings of Guadalajara, wobbling ceiling fans, mismatched chairs. Aesthetics were optional. The food was real, portions generous, and Rosa Alvarez, the owner, treated strangers like grandkids and regulars like saints home from storms. You overrate your spice tolerance, Tiana teased, pointing at Malik's chili relleno swimming in lava-red sauce. Light danced in her eyes, the brightness that appears when warriors finally lay down burdens for a breath. Malik blotted sweat, dark skin shining under fluorescence. This? Nothing, he croaked. Remember Kandahar, the elder's stew? You cried, King Waterworks, Tiana laughed. 3 months. Something was in my eye, he grinned. At 6'2", broad-shouldered, 36, Malik carried quiet gravity in jeans and a stretched gray Henley, hands scarred from service. Tiana, 34, 5'6", wiry, wore a small seal trident, the only outward confession of identity. I miss nights like this, Tiana murmured. No briefs, no checks, no sleeping half awake. They'd returned from 4 months of unspoken work, the kind success never acknowledges and failure buries under quiet flags. Dad said we fight for these quiet breaths, Malik offered softly. He remembered a porch, desert storm, his father's silence, inhaling peace like a prayer. Tiana's Marine father died in Fallujah. Service was inheritance. Rosa appeared concerned. More water, mijos? She'd fled Michoacan decades ago and built a life with relentless work and glorious recipes. Please, Malik said, and condensation trailed the pitcher like rain. They'd chosen roses deliberately, far from base, far from uniformed crowds, far from familiarity. In their world, anonymity is armor, recognition attracts danger abroad, and resentment at home. Attention can paint targets. Think about after, Tiana asked, tracing glass condensation. After the teams? Malik's jaw worked. Bodies wear down. Minds carry weight. Few SEALs last 20 years unbroken. He imagined teaching, building, coaching, creating instead of destroying. I'd open a women's training gym, Tiana said. Teach skills, confidence, dismantle fear. Malik meant it. You'd be incredible. She'd untangled his Arabic, coached jittery rookies through terrifying first jumps, steady and patient. They ate, laughed, drifted from sanitized war stories to hazy dreams. Rosa delivered flan for beautiful souls, and they savored sweetness like an earned ceasefire. At 9:47 p.m., Malik paid in cash, tipping extravagantly. Outside, October's chill felt cleansing after kitchen warmth. Malik's dark blue Ford F-150 waited under sodium orange halos. I'll drive, Tiana smiled. That Releno's still sparring with your stomach. He tossed keys. She snatched easily. Footsteps echoed across pavement, breath visible in little clouds. Headlights detonated, blinding, surgical. Malik's palm shielded his eyes. His hip twitched toward an absent sidearm. Civvies tonight. Civvies rules. Civvies restraint. A cruiser door swung. Officer Trent Mallory swaggered forward like a dusty town gunslinger, hands settling near his weapon. Early 40s, thickened at the middle, handsome once, now puffy with bitterness, cheap cologne, and booze. Step away from the vehicle, he barked. Volume substituting for legitimacy. Malik and Tiana exchanged a glance. Message compressed. Comply, de-escalate, survive. You don't win street chess by proving strength to a drunk. Is there a problem, officer? Malik asked neutrally, hands visible. movements deliberate. I'll ask questions, Mallory snapped, eyes bloodshot, pupils wrong. Drunk or high, maybe both. What are you doing here? Dinner, Tiana said, nodding at Rosa's. Through glass, Rosa wiped tables, unaware that trouble blossomed in her lot. Illegal, is it? Mallory's face flushed. Got a call. Suspicious pair casing cars. The lie creaked. Eyes flick left. Small hesitation, vague phrasing. No call. Fishing for submission or sport. Misunderstanding, Malik said. I'm Malik Anderson, active duty Navy. He reached slowly for his wallet. Don't move, Mallory warned, grip tightening on his holster, half-draw theater. Trying to pull something? No, sir, Malik said, pulse surging. His instincts reported danger climbing fast. Hands on the truck, now. Tiana turned first, palms on cold metal. Malik followed, mind flicking options. They could dominate Mallory in seconds and lose everything. Assault on an officer, resisting headlines, prison. The system shields itself first. Mallory's pat-down was performative and invasive, fingers lingering. He snatched Malik's wallet, flipped to the military ID. Navy? He sneered. Think you're special? Above the law? No, Malik said tightly. Explaining. I know what you are, Mallory growled, something personal underneath. Suspects in a possible auto theft. Registration? Glove box, Malik said. My truck paid off. Mallory rummaged, scattering papers, ignoring proof. Could be forged, he pronounced. Tiana's fists tightened on steel. This is harassment, she said, voice a chilled blade. No probable cause. Shut your mouth, he snarled, stepping into her space. Or obstruction. What charges? Malik demanded. We've done nothing. Resisting a lawful investigation, Mallory smirked, practiced cruelty surfacing. He'd done this before. You're both under arrest. The words dropped like a trap slamming. Handcuffs kissed Tiana's wrists. Too rough, deliberate humiliation. She didn't resist, because survival sometimes means swallowing rage. Her eyes found Malik's, molten, furious, unbowed. Turn around, Mallory ordered. Malik complied, jaw stone. A small crowd gathered. Night workers, passers-by, faces blue-red from squad lights, phones recording. Shock, curiosity, ugly eagerness. Rosa burst out, apron on, stricken. Dios mío, they're good people. They just ate. Step back, Mallory snapped. Police matter. This is wrong, Rosa insisted, tears bright. I know them. Back off or I'll arrest you for interference. She retreated, praying hands, devastated but unbroken. Mallory frog-marched them to his cruiser, palm pushing Malik's neck. Dominance theater. He shoved Malik into the back, doorframe narrowly missed. Tiana was jammed beside him, cuffs biting, space designed to humiliate. Their truck sat open under the lamp, water bottles half finished in cup holders, proof of interrupted ordinary life. What just happened? Tiana whispered, voice small in a new, terrible way. Combat never felt this powerless. We'll get processed. Call Chain, Malik muttered. The Admiral must be told. Chain burned hotter than cuffs. Mallory slid behind the wheel, suspension groaning. Comfy? He mocked. Get used to cells, heroes. The cruiser rolled, light strobing over rubberneckers. Rosa shrank in her doorway. The city unfurled, library, park, high school, Malik's childhood markers, now hostile waypoints on a route toward institutional indifference. You know what I hate, Mallory said, eyes on the mirror. People like you think uniforms make you better. Strip them off, you're just more trouble for me to sweep away. Malik stayed silent. East Division Station appeared, blocky, weary concrete relic. The sally port swallowed them, door rattling down. End of the line, Mallory chirped. Inside, disinfectant, sweat, desperation, the cocktail of bureaucratized misery. The desk sergeant barely looked up. What we got? 2 casing cars on commercial, Mallory said confidently. Resisted, obstructed, possible theft. Lies flowed practiced and smooth, skimming over skepticism like oil. The sergeant's eyes flickered. These didn't look like usual arrestees, but he typed anyway. Name and DOB. Malik Anderson, Malik stated. Navy SEAL. Don't need your biography, the sergeant grunted. Systems brand forever. Weapons? Needles? No, they answered. Empty your pockets. Wallets, phones, keys. Tiana's trident necklace dangled. The sergeant eyed it, then dropped it into the tray. Malik's phone lit with a family call. Missed. Fingerprints. Mugshots. Measurements. Dehumanization by design. Malik had posed 1,000 times for IDs and teams, but never to be reduced to angles and prints that implied criminal identity by default. Cell 3, the sergeant said. Processing in the morning. Morning crawled hours away. Mallory led them past offices, a sad sandwich, indifferent faces, to green-painted concrete, bolted bench, seatless toilet, stale fear. Uncuffed and shoved inside, the door clanged like a verdict. Breakfast at 6, Mallory grinned. Cold eggs, warm OJ. He whistled away. Tiana sat, head in hands. Malik gripped bars, counting breaths. Dad told stories, Malik said. Coming home felt familiar and foreign. Peace not always peaceful. Tiana lifted red, dry eyes. He wrote before his last tour. Don't let the broken break you. I don't feel strong, she whispered. Strength isn't never falling, he said. It's what we do when down. At least combat named our enemy, she said. Here, safety turned predator. Sometimes the country doesn't fight back for us, Malik admitted, sitting beside her. 2 warriors caged, crime, existing while a badge became a weapon. Night churned, singing drunk, sobbing mother, angry teen. Around 2, a younger officer, Daniel Ruiz, paused at their bars, kind eyes betraying conflict. You 2 really SEALs? Yes, Malik said. Report says you resisted. Found paraphernalia. A lie, Tiana answered flatly. Ruiz studied them. I believe you. Doesn't matter what I believe. Reports matter. Mallory's dirty. Everyone knows. Union friends, lawyer always ready, untouchable. No one's untouchable, Malik said. Ruiz's smile was sad. Tell that to the council that looks away, to a system protecting itself first. He walked off, leaving a new horror. This wasn't aberration, but pattern, and the department knew and did nothing. We can't let this stand, Tiana said, resolve crystallizing. We fight smart, Malik replied. Document, demand accountability, make noise they can't ignore, and if they still ignore, we make it public, loud. Dawn seeped gray through high windows. Phones rang, voices rose, coffee burbled. They hadn't slept, anger plating nerves. At 6:15, breakfast arrived exactly as promised. Sad eggs, lukewarm orange, toast like drywall. At 7, Officer Ruiz returned. Courthouse holding. Arraignment at 10. Where's Mallory? Malik asked. Finishing his fairy tale, Ruiz said, apologetic. Cuffs in front this time. A small mercy restoring a sliver of dignity. The transport van's tiny compartments squeezed bodies and patience. The courthouse conveyor belt churned them through checkpoints into a crowded holding cell. A public defender appeared. Coffee-stained blouse. Too many files. Steady eyes. Malik Anderson and Tiana Burke? Yes. I'm Sarah Chan, public defender, she said, flipping pages. Charges: resisting obstruction, possible vehicle theft. Arresting officer: Trent Mallory. Active duty SEALs, Malik said. Sarah's face flickered. Surprise, understanding, pity. This stinks, but arraignment is bail and basics. We'll fight later. We want to fight, Tiana said. First, get you out, Sarah answered. Records? Clean. Any reason you'd flee? We're military, rooted, Malik said. I'll push for release on recognizance, Sarah decided. But Mallory's narrative, may trigger bail. Whatever it takes, Malik said, jaw set. Their names were called. The courtroom felt smaller than TV. A hum of fluorescence, worn carpet, flag behind the bench. Judge Patrice Whitman, 60s, silver hair, eyes that had heard everything, presided. The prosecutor, young and untested, recited Mallory's report with unearned confidence, suspicious behavior, belligerence, resisting, paraphernalia, requested $50,000 bail each. Sarah Rose, service records, community ties, zero history, witnesses, and probable security footage. The judge's brows rose. Seals. She eyed orange jumpsuits, restraint marks, controlled pride. Charged with what, precisely? Resisting, obstruction, suspicion of theft. The prosecutor read. Suspicion? The judge clipped. Either stolen or not. Truck registered to Mr. Anderson, Sarah interjected. Paraphernalia, the judge pressed. The prosecutor shuffled. According to Officer Mallory, I can read what actually was found. He faltered. I don't have that detail. Because nothing was found, Sarah said. Arrest is baseless. Doors opened, air changed. A tall figure entered, full navy dress blues, ribbons like a biography. Admiral Jonah Reeves had arrived, and gravity shifted. Even the gavel paused. And you are? The judge asked, already knowing he wasn't ordinary. Admiral Jonah Reeves, United States Navy, he said. They're my SEALs. I'm here for character testimony and fair treatment. The prosecutor protested. His presence doesn't change facts. Let's hear some, the Admiral replied, command contained and calm. Preliminary reports at 0400 suggest harassment, not policing. The judge allowed him, briefly, to proceed. Reeves positioned beside his people, optics shifting defendants into warriors. Chief Petty Officer Malik Anderson, 6 years with me, 4 combat deployments, 30-plus successful ops, recommended for high valor, classified, trainer, mentor, exemplary record. Malik's shoulders squared, pride restrained, unmistakable. Petty Officer First Class Tiana Burke, 4 years. Among the earliest women to finish Bud S with honors, linguist, expert marksman, lives saved, I cannot discuss here. They're patriots, not criminals, Reeves said. Last night, they were arrested after dinner by an officer whose report contradicts witnesses, evidence, and common sense. The prosecutor tried again. Reeves cut him off smoothly. I know what real resisting looks like, the Admiral said. They wouldn't dare steal a vehicle. Ever. Not in their DNA. The judge studied him, then them. Paraphernalia? Perhaps planted, Reeves said, voice hardening. Officer Trent Mallory, 12 complaints in 3 years. Excessive force, falsified reports, harassment, no discipline, protected by a system intolerant of accountability. That protection ends when he targets my people. Whisper ripple. Mallory shifted and back, smugness evaporating into sweat. Serious allegations, Admiral, the judge warned. Evidence? Rosa Alvarez, Reeves said. Doors opened. Rosa entered with 3 patrons, hands shaking, spine steel. Sarah stood. Witnesses with sworn statements contradicting Mallory's report. Prosecutor squirmed. Highly irregular. Everything about this case is irregular, the judge replied, beckoning Rosa. Ma'am, what did you see? Rosa's voice carried steady grief. They were perfect, polite, generous. He attacked them without cause. Malik tried to show ID. The officer refused. Tiana complied. He cuffed her anyway. I gave them flan. Did they resist? No. Nothing. Rosa's eyes watered. 1 hour after dessert, they're in cuffs for being black and eating at my place. The courtroom inhaled. Subtext became text, plain and undeniable. Did the report note they offered identification? The judge asked. The prosecutor paled. No, Your Honor. Any witnesses? No. Anything beyond Officer Mallory's version? No. Concern shaded the judge's features. Mallory burst up. Your Honor! The Admiral wasn't there. I was. They were suspicious. Suspicious how? By eating, walking to a legally owned truck, existing while black. The judge's voice sharpened to honed glass. I don't appreciate, I don't care, the judge snapped. Facts matter. These charges look baseless. Ms. Chan, release on recognizance granted. Prosecutor, file real evidence by Monday, or I dismiss with prejudice. And put Mallory's entire arrest record on my desk. Every complaint, every internal finding, she added. She turned to Malik and Tiana. I'm sorry, your service is recognized. Released immediately. Charges suspended pending review. Gavel cracked. Next case. Admiral Reeves wasn't done. They were caged 12 hours, denied rest, fed worse than school cafeterias, reputations smeared. I request immediate investigations. This case and Mallory's pattern. Beyond arraignment, the judge replied, then nodded to the court reporter. Forward. Today's transcript to Internal Affairs, the District Attorney, and the FBI Civil Rights Division. If there's a pattern, it gets sunlight. Mallory froze as institutional shields cracked. Bailiff removed cuffs. Freedom clicked open. Malik and Tiana rubbed wrists, dazed, relieved, fiercely composed. Reeves's hands settled on their shoulders. Command turned protective kinship. Let's go, he said gently. Rosa and witnesses followed like a small procession. Hallways parted instinctively. Some recognized uniforms, others recognized gravity. Something important had just realigned toward justice. Outside, October's sun was brighter than it had any right to be. Malik breathed freedom, like medicine. Tiana's hand went reflexively to her missing trident. Sir, how'd you know? He asked. Impound called the duty officer at SO 2:30, Reeves explained. Truck tied to active duty. I learned 2 of mine were arrested and I drove. I'd drive anywhere for my people, always. You'd go at 3 a.m.? Tiana asked. Every time, he said. No corrupt cop ruins my operators on my watch. Rosa approached. You need a ride? Trucks impounded. We'll handle it, Reeves assured. Thank you for courage today, he told Rosa. Many stay silent. She lifted her chin. Silence feeds bullies. I promised never again. Malik's throat tightened. You were strong when we couldn't be. Rosa pressed a small St. Michael medallion into Malik's palm. My son served. He didn't return. Soldiers protected me. Now I protect soldiers. That's how his memory fights on. A black SUV glided to the curb. Reeves's vehicle, a junior officer driving. Before they loaded up, Sarah Chan hurried down the steps, juggling files and donut glaze, breathless but ablaze with purpose. This case will be big, she said. Mallory won't fall alone. I've chased his pattern 2 years, needed fearless, credible witnesses. You have credibility, community, and an admiral ready to bulldoze bureaucracy. Sue under civil rights, false arrest, malicious prosecution, Sarah urged. Subpoena everything. Depose everyone, but it'll consume months. Media, depositions, digging through your lives. Reeves frowned, protective instinct rising. They've endured enough, he cautioned. 17 victims, Sarah pressed, showing a photo of Darius Talbot, a young black nurse. Mallory arrested him for matching a suspect, lost his job, home, hope. Where is he now? Tiana asked, eyes on the bright smile. Living in his car. Charges dropped too late. Arrest follows like a ghost, Sarah said, voice cracking. He saved lives. The system didn't save his. Malik and Tiana shared that wordless operator glance. Malik heard his father, stand for those without shields. Tiana heard her father, stay strong and true. What would we need? Malik asked. You don't have to, Reeves began. Respectfully, sir, we do, Malik answered. If we walk, Mallory finds another target without support. We have rank, resources, and protection. Our oath didn't end overseas. Different battlefield, same mission, Tiana said. Protect people who can't protect themselves. Reeves's worry shifted to pride, parental, fierce. The department will circle wagons. The union will attack. Media digs deep. We've been shot at by people who wanted us dead, Malik said. We can handle pundits wanting clicks. We're SEALs, Tiana added. Easy has never appeared in our job description. I'll link you with top civil rights counsel, Sarah promised. We'll document everything, but this becomes your life for 6 months, maybe longer. We understand, they said together. Rosa lifted her hand. I'll feed the army of lawyers, she declared, if it stops Mallory from hurting anyone else. Reeves sighed, the resignation of someone consenting to the hard right over the easy wrong. We do this smart, he said. No media without JAG approval. Every word vetted. Protect the mission, protect classified, protect you. Sarah nodded quickly. We'll coordinate with Navy Legal. Tight discipline. Across the street, a camera crew sprouted like weeds. News spread fast. Spectacle beckoned. Time to go, Reeves decided. No show. They slipped into the SUV. Rosa squeezed between warriors. Streets slid by. Malik's city. Familiar shapes carrying unfamiliar weight. He felt something fundamental shift. He'd left chasing normalcy and returned enlisted into a domestic war against rot-wearing official uniforms. What's on your mind? Tiana asked. All the villages we secured, Malik said. We sold ourselves an ideal of home. Reality's messier. When protectors become threats, we adapt and overcome. Reeves turned. Hardest fights aren't always overseas. Sometimes they're against our own institutions, comfortable silence, and systems preferring denial over accountability. Burning down bureaucracies, sir? Malik asked, eyebrow arched. 35 years teaches where levers hide, Reeves said. Which committees matter? Which regulations wieldable for good? If they want war, they picked a commander trained to win wars. The impound lot loomed. Chain link and razor wire. Paperwork, fees, inspections, tedious gauntlet. Keys finally returned. Malik slid behind his own wheel. Reeves leaned through the window, eyes softening. Take the weekend, he said. Rest. Process. Monday, 0600, my office. We'll map strategy with JAG. Yes, sir, they echoed. I'm proud of you for choosing the harder, honorable fight. He stepped back and saluted. They returned it. Precision and shared respect beyond rank. Rosa insisted they drive her home for real food, not jail's parody. Refusing her was impossible. Neighborhoods shifted from tidy to tired, inequality painted in peeling trim and busted lights. Rosa's building, cheerful yellow, flower boxes overflowing, defied the gloom. Inside, immaculate, walls of family, one uniformed son, smiling. This is sit, she commanded. Tamales, pork, and green chili. Healing needs proper fuel. You don't have to. In my home, I cook, she said. It's how I love. Accept it. They sank into crocheted blankets and kindness. Sense of masa and spice soothed frayed nerves. Phones returned with belongings buzzed endlessly. Family, teammates, community, rumor outrunning facts, support outrunning cynicism. A message from their senior chief. We've got your six. Whatever you need. Tiana's phone flooded with notes from women warriors, sisters who knew the fight to simply belong inside unforgiving institutions. Strange, terrible sparks, beautiful, Tiana said, watching messages. Look at all these strangers standing with us. For every Mallory, hundreds stand up, Malik replied. Systems silence them. Our job is amplification. Rosa delivered plates piled high, tamales, rice, beans, soul glue. They ate slowly, savoring food and untheatrical humanity. Miguel said the hardest part wasn't danger, Rosa reflected. It was seeing problems guns can't solve. He told me, if he didn't come home, don't just cry. Fight, build something better. Honor sacrifice by improving the world. Her eyes lingered on Miguel's photo, memories fierce and tender. You already did so much, Malik said. Testified, brought witnesses. That's starter, Rosa countered. I'll tell customers, neighbors. Pressure grows. Change follows. She was right. Systems shift under 1,000 brave whispers. They finished quietly as sunset painted orange and purple. Regular life held them for one rare hour. Heroes? Tiana demurred. Just unlucky. No, mija, Rosa said. Right place, right time. Truth's timing. The drive to base was hushed. Anonymous warriors yesterday. Symbols by sundown. No going back, Malik said when the gate appeared. Wouldn't want to, Tiana answered. This fight feels measurable, winnable. Think we can win? Malik asked. Tiana's first genuine smile returned. We're seals. Losing isn't in our vocabulary. Weekend blurred by restless sleep and legal prep. New nightmares replaced old ones. Malik woke at odd hours, replaying cuffs, clangs, Mallory's smirk. These weren't battlefield ghosts. They were fresh, bureaucratic injuries. Tiana ran miles on beach sand, outrunning shame that wasn't hers. Sunday night, Malik's modest off-base apartment became a war room, laptops, legal pads, a shadow box with his father's army dress uniform, team photo, anchors against the undertow of institutional gaslighting. Time of first contact? Tiana asked. Left Rosa's at 9:47. Reached truck 9:50. Mallory lit us up around 9:52, Malik said, scrubbing timelines clean. He watched us 30 seconds before theater. He opened with aggression, hand on weapon, dominance first, Tiana wrote, handwriting steady. You said dinner, I gestured. Then he invented the suspicious activity call, fabrication, probably didn't even run plates. Malik paced the window. We're trained for hostiles. One wrong word can ignite firefights. We still didn't defend ourselves. We weren't scared, Tiana said. We were strategic. Anything else equals dead. We complied to survive, Malik said bitterly. What freedom is that? No answer existed. They documented witnesses, officers, timings, insults, choices they didn't actually have but had to own to live. At 8, the doorbell. Admiral Reeves, civilian clothes, jeans and a navy sweatshirt, suddenly less monumental, more human. At ease, he said. Off duty, not official. I've been digging on Mallory. They sat. Reeves's folder wasn't Navy stamped, but thorough. Clippings, forms, notes. 19 years on SDPD. Promoted detective. Demoted after an excessive force case that stuck rare. 17-year-old, broken taillight, hands up on video. Department settled for 200 grand. He kept badge, gun, authority, Reeves said, controlled anger banked behind matter-of-fact tone. How does someone stay? Tiana asked. Union, qualified immunity, fear of headlines. But 17 official complaints in 3 years, Reeves continued. Excessive force, false arrest, perjury, tampering. One discipline. The rest? Unsubstantiated. Translation, we investigated ourselves and absolved ourselves. He slid a form. 8 months ago, Patricia Chen, no relation, accused Mallory of planting drugs. Clean record, witness. Department cleared him in 2 weeks. She lost her bank job, then lost custody. Where is she now? Tiana asked. 2 minimum wage jobs. Rebuilding? Reeves answered. Mallory wasn't careless. He was predatory, harvesting powerlessness with institutional permission. Why tell us, sir? Malik asked. Counsel will get it, Reeves said. But you should understand the scale. File that lawsuit and you become center of gravity. Victims will see hope. The system will see threats to neutralize. They'll dig everywhere, he warned. Old mistakes, stray comments, teammates' gripes, medical rumors weaponized. They'll imply PTSD, unreliability, exaggerations. It'll get ugly. We already chose, Tiana said. Cost doesn't change choice. Good, Reeves said, because JAG may suggest settlement, money, apology, minor discipline. Everyone moves on except past and future victims. We won't be paid quiet, Malik answered. Silence buys more harm. Then know this, Reeves said. Reject settlement. Push hard. I'm with you. JAG, Public Affairs, Team Commander. They're aligned. The Navy's weight backs you, however long, however difficult. We won't blink. Why push the harder road? Tiana asked. Reeves looked far away. 20 years ago, similar crossroads, I took the payout, told myself I protected my team. The rot survived. Regret metastasized. I won't repeat that mistake, Lee said. You're giving me a second chance to fight right. Vulnerability made him bigger, not smaller. Authority sharpened by repentance and a promise to spend it. He pulled his phone. It's national already, he said. CNN, The Post, headlines, decorated seals, profiling. Admiral storms court, photos of younger versions of them, hopeful, unscarred, now dragged into spotlight. Media cuts both ways, Reeves cautioned. Pressure on the system, yes, but privacy evaporates. Control narrative before it controls you. Coordinate every syllable with counsel. We tell the truth precisely. Malik scrolled. Accuracy with seasoning of sensationalism. The machine was humming. He exhaled. Then we lead it, he said. We won't let them turn this into clickbait while Mallory stalks another night. Monday would be strategy, subpoenas, and steel. Tonight was community, food, and borrowed calm. They thanked Reeves. He clasped their shoulders again. 600 hours, he reminded. We take the hill together. After he left, they returned to timelines, freezing a chaotic night into dates, minutes, words, gestures, evidence that pulls lies' teeth. Survival had required submission. Victory would require documentation done ruthlessly well. Outside, the city glimmered, indifferent. Inside, resolve hardened. This would be long and public and costly, but they'd survived worse. And this time, the battlefield came with cameras and courts, not mortars. Tiana underlined witness names: Rosa Alvarez, Miguel Ortiz, Carla Jimenez, Howard Lee. Malik flagged Officer Daniel Ruiz for potential whistleblower thread. Each detail was a future anchor in treacherous water. Malik's sister texted, "Proud of you, don't let them rewrite your story." He smiled for the first time since headlights detonated ordinary. Stories are battlefields. They intended to win this narrative. Midnight again. He brewed burnt coffee they tolerated on deployment. Tiana yawned, then grinned at her mug. Tastes like fob rocket alarms, she said. Smells like a lawsuit about to start. The clock crawled. They wrote, anyway. Each sentence was armor. Each memory, rivet. The door to Monday creaked open, and behind it waited JAG briefings, press guidance, affidavits, sworn statements, subpoenas. Malik reread the line. He kept his hand on the holster before speaking. There was something chilling about threat first, questions later. He boxed it in red. Tone tells intent. Juries feel tone. Tiana listed moments she wanted recorded. Rosa's pleas, phones out, Mallory's half-draw, the exact 30-second blind by headlights, the phrase lawful investigation, the parole of contempt. Hero, spat like insult. They finally shut laptops. Sleep would be rationed, not granted. Tiana curled on the couch under one of Rosa's crocheted blankets. Malik leaned on the window frame, city lights flicking like distant rotor blades. He pressed the St. Michael medallion in his palm, Rosa's son's memory finding new duty with him. Saint of warriors, he whispered, watch us wage a just war without guns. Dawn again. Monday. They showered, buttoned collared shirts, clipped discipline to their voices. Coffee, bagels, quiet nods. They moved like operators, smooth, precise, into a different kind of op, with different exfil. The base greeted them with familiar rituals, yet every salute carried new subtext. Word had traveled. You don't arrest SEALs in a parking lot and expect whispers to stay whispers. Reeves's office, clean, orderly, a map of responsibilities. He stood already mid-brief with JAG, Commander Elise Park, razor sharp, eyes like microscopes. Ground rules, she said. We win with facts. Painstaking, boring, unassailable facts. She slid checklists, timelines, witnesses, statements, medical documentation for marks, training records, duty rosters, no freelancing with media. We'll choose venues and moments carefully. Let them underestimate our methodical patience. The Union will come swinging, Commander Park said. We welcome it. Sunlight and depositions are excellent disinfectants. Reeves's grin was thin. They wanted war, he said. We excel at campaigns. A junior Payot briefed likely headlines, hostile talking points, counters grounded only in verifiable truths. We don't throw haymakers, she advised. We jab with documents until their jaw breaks itself. Sarah joined by video, already coordinating civil counsel. Complaint draft today, filing this week, she said. Federal venue, pattern and practice sauce for the DA and FBI marinade. We'll bring heat. Malik and Tiana signed authorizations. The machine turned for them for once. It felt strange. Government gears sometimes grind for regular people, too. If someone with rank keeps kicking them awake. Reeves ended the meeting. Hydrate, eat, then back at it. They stepped out into sunlight, sharper than before. Somewhere, Mallory was practicing a story. They were preparing to dismantle fiction with receipts. Rosa texted a photo. 3 foil pans, tamales, arroz, frijoles. Caption, for justice fighters. Tiana laughed through a knot in her chest. Ordinary kindness is tactical sustenance. Community is logistics for the soul. Malik stared at the base flag a moment longer. The wind snapped it violent and proud. Ideals are fabric until defended. Today, defense meant suits, statutes, sworn truths, and relentless, boring precision. He thought of Darius Talbot sleeping in a car, of Patricia Chin fighting for her daughter, of every person whose normal night became paperwork purgatory because an untouchable man liked feeling large. We won't waste this platform, Tiana said. We'll carry them with us into depositions. They'll try to strip context, Malik replied. We'll keep laying context back, brick by careful brick. Reeves stepped beside them, quiet for a long beat. We fight, we document, we endure, he said, and we remember why. Not vengeance, correction, not spectacle, standards, not noise, consequences. The week launched. Statements were sworn, witnesses scheduled. A federal complaint acquired teeth, paragraphs layered like armor plates. The union released a statement, predictable, indignant. The department promised full review. The local paper ran Rosa's quote, in bold. National shows called. Jag said, not yet. Patience is a weapon. Headlines, love fire. Justice requires pilots who fly instruments, not fireworks. Community voices multiplied. Nurses, teachers, drivers, people who'd survived the machine and never been believed. Malik read every message. Tiana answered many. Each voice added ballast. Each pain demanded daylight. Sarah filed. The complaint named names and dates and patterns. It asked a court to carve truth from habit and to issue orders sharp enough to cut through union-weaved insulation. Ruiz met privately with internal affairs. He didn't know whether it would matter, but he said what he'd seen, what he'd suspected for years. If bravery is contagious, paperwork can be too. Cameras waited like crows. They walked past with respectful silence. When the time came, they'd speak, once cleanly, precisely, without adjectives. For now, work. For later, words. For always, purpose. Judge Whitman set an evidentiary hearing date. The DA asked for more time. FBI scheduled interviews. The department placed Mallory on leave. Administrative purgatory with pay. The union shouted. The city listened. Rosa's kitchen filled nightly with people who'd watched her on TV and wanted the flan that launched a reckoning. She said grace over plates and sometimes over affidavits at table 6. Malik and Tiana drove by the lot where lights had detonated a life change. Nothing looked different. Everything was. Landmarks don't move. Meaning does. Some nights, ravens perched on the lamppost. When we're done, Tiana said, we go back for tamales and leave a tip that funds Rosa's new stove. Make it 2 stoves, Malik answered, and a scholarship in Miguel's name. Sarah texted, hearing Monday at 9. Bring patience and backbone. Backbone we have, Malik wrote. Patience we're renting from Commander Park. Good lease, Sarah replied. No purchase options required. Over the weekend, they trained like always. Range time, ocean swims, knots. Muscle memory steadied moral memory. Competence in one arena can anchor courage in another, even when rule sets diverge wildly. News cycles churned. Other crises elbowed theirs aside, then circled back. They learned media isn't a river, it's a tide. Don't chase it. Build seawalls of facts and let water slap uselessly. Monday again. They dressed sharper. They walked steadier. Outside the courthouse, people gathered, some with signs, some with hugs. Rosa pressed St. Michael to Malik's chest again. For round two, she smiled. Inside, pews creaked with attention. Mallory sat with counsel, jaw tight, eyes mean. The judge took the bench, stacked files like bricks, and said what justice always says at its best: proceed. And they did. Hours later, they stepped into bright sun, not finished, not broken. Justice isn't a single door, it's a corridor. But the first hinge squealed, and light pushed through where darkness previously camped. Malik checked his phone. A message from an unknown number. Darius Talbot. Thank you, I slept in a bed last night. He closed his eyes, breathed steady, felt a medallion press his palm. We keep going, Tiana said. We keep winning boring. We keep choosing the hard right, Malik answered. And we keep eating at Rosa's. Warriors can't fight hungry. Amen, Tiana smiled. A reporter shouted a question. They didn't answer. Not yet. They had depositions to schedule, motions to file, training to maintain, sleep to borrow. Headlines would wait for the right sentence. That night, the city glittered again. Same lights, different story. Stories don't change places. People do. Two SEALs, one Admiral, a restaurateur, a kind cop, and a crowd of witnesses had begun. Somewhere, Mallory cursed gravity. Systems that once lifted him began tugging the other way. That's what sunlight does to mold, deprives it of excuses, and its roots loosen all by themselves. Malik texted Rosa, "How many stoves fit your kitchen?" She answered, "Enough for a small army." "Perfect," he wrote. "We're building one." He meant lawyers, witnesses, neighbors, an army of ordinary courage. In his apartment, Malik pinned a new index card above the desk. Mission, accountability. Below it, 3 lines. Document relentlessly. Speak precisely. Protect others. He underlined others twice, then slept, finally. Tiana taped her father's letter beside her mirror. The paper was worn, the ink a little ghostly now. Words outlast uniforms. Some orders never expire. Stay strong, stay proud, stay true. Reeves reviewed next steps, committee calls, oversight briefings, strategic patience. He'd promised to burn down bureaucracies. Truth is drier kindling than rumor. He kept stacking facts until sparks found oxygen, and in a quiet moment, he forgave a younger version of himself for taking an easy settlement years ago, then recommitted to spend the rest of his rank correcting that single, expensive mercy. Systems resist change until suddenly they don't. Enough signatures gather, enough witnesses speak, enough officials feel heat. Then structure rebalances like a ship with ballast, shifted just enough to right her. On Tuesday, Internal Affairs called Rosa to confirm her written statement. She wore her best dress and spoke exactly like in court, unshaking this time. Truth, when practiced, gains muscle and clearer diction. By Wednesday, the union tried smearing Malik and Tiana anonymously. Jag filed a response so coldly factual, the smear slumped over, embarrassed. A lie hates footnotes, exhibits, and the word under oath. Thursday, a city council member requested a hearing on patterns and practices. Friday, a civil rights group filed an amicus. Saturday, Rosa's dining room turned into a postcard writing party between plates. Sunday night, Malik and Tiana stood outside Rosa's, the lamppost above them humming like before. "Same light," he said. "Different shadows," she replied. "This time, they lean away from us." Inside, Rosa insisted on extra flan. For courage, she said. Courage tastes like vanilla? Tiana teased. Today it does, Rosa winked. Tomorrow. Tamales? They laughed. Quiet war bellies, filled with community. On Malik's phone, a headline updated quietly. Officer placed on unpaid leave pending federal inquiry. It wasn't victory. It was a door unlatching. Enough to sleep. Enough to rise. Fighting again. And somewhere far from cameras, Darius Talbot folded a clean blanket in a friend's guest room, exhaled relief, and texted again. Thank you. The reply came fast. We're not done. Jag will help you craft statements and prep interviews. You tell your truth before others frame it, Reeves said. When? Malik asked. Dory 600 sharp, team conference room. Sarah Chan plus her civil rights partners will join. We'll map strategy, outline options, prep for whatever the department throws. Reeves added, rising. Sleep if you can. Tomorrow's a marathon, not a sprint. At the door, your teammates want to pack the next hearing in uniform. Malik glanced at Tiana Burke. Another silent exchange. A packed gallery would speak volumes, but make this even more public. Navy versus PD optics and all. Tell them yes, Tiana said. Family stands beside family. Reeves nodded. Faint smile. Word goes out. Rest up, warriors. Tomorrow we plan the counteroffensive. After he left, the room's energy shifted. No longer two isolated people with notes, but the spear point of a determined institution. You scared? Malik asked near midnight. Terrified and furious and ready, Tiana answered. Whatever it takes. Malik saved files, shut the laptop. The enemy wasn't a person. It wore policy, paperwork, and practiced impunity. Different battlefield, same war, Tiana said. We fight for justice overseas or here. The principle doesn't change. They worked until 2, timeline locked, evidence cataloged. She left. Malik watched taillights like a comrade heading out. Sleep wouldn't come. At 0430, he laced up and pounded pre-dawn streets until thinking bled into breath. Sunrise painted pink gold over San Diego. Centering returned. He was ready to fight smart, not merely hard. The team building buzzed by 0545. Nods, shoulder clasps. No one asked, how are you? They already knew. Tiana arrived, sleepless, steady. Together they entered the conference room. Reeves, 3 JAGs, 2 civilian litigators. Introductions snapped by. Lead JAG, Commander Elise Park. 40s, all edge and poise. Civil counsel, Michael Torres and Jennifer Washington, veterans of reform suits that rattled city halls. Let's get to work, Park said. Park opened a thick folder. Initial offer, $500K total, charges dismissed with prejudice, written apology. Mallory suspended 6 months without pay. Tiana's eyebrow lifted. Half a year for wrecked lives and a trail of victims. Opening gambit, Washington said. They expect counter. Design is silence. NDA, check clears. He's back by spring. Torres slid another packet. Reject it, and PR 1983 opens Mallory personally. Department oversight, city liability. We sue, we depose. We subpoena, IA files, put practice on trial, Torres said. Chances, Malik asked. With you two, witnesses, and records. Stronger than most, Torres replied. But it's brutal. Years, not months. Discovery is invasive, Park warned. Medical, psych, deployments. Expect them to cry PTSD, claim hypervigilance, distorts perception. Reeves finally spoke. They'll also allege the Navy's orchestrating a turf war. We'll blunt that. Sarah looked up from notes. They can't wish away pattern. 17 similar arrests. How many will testify? Tiana asked. 9 ready to file. 3 considering, 4 too scared, Washington said, laying photos like battlefield markers. Faces stared back. Darius Talbot, nurse. Maria Santos, mother of 3. James Choi, Iraq vet, and birder. Lives knocked sideways by a badge weaponized against them. Malik saw 17 versions of the same wound. What do you need from us? He asked. Decision, Park said. If lawsuit, we file this week, fight motions, reach discovery, then court, 6 to 12 months for discovery, 2 to 3 years overall. While we deploy? Tiana asked. We schedule around ops, Reeves said. Mission first, law in parallel. Torres added, you'll still need to go public, controlled, strategic, pressers, council testimony, faces of reform. Malik breathed once. And if we lose, we appeal, Washington said. Ninth Circuit, maybe higher, but even losses can expose truth. Depositions and documents hit the record, forcing reforms anyway. The room waited. The easy path sat there, gleaming and false. Malik pictured his father's porch lessons, Rosa's dead son, Darius sleeping in a car, Maria explaining cuffs to kids, James's shaking hands. Tiana heard her father's letter, stay strong, proud, true, especially when power leans hard. They looked at each other, a decade of trust in a glance. We reject the settlement, Malik said, voice steel. We file, Tiana added. We fight until the badge is gone, and the system shifts. Reeves's pride was volcanic and quiet. Park started dictating. Washington smiled the warrior's smile, righteous and ready. Then let's build a case that makes history, she said, opening a laptop like arming a detonator. 4 hours zipped by with combat precision. Witness lists, discovery roadmaps, defense counter trees, contingency branches. Sarah rang victims, Park drafted the complaint, allegations bolted to evidence, claims mortised into precedent. By noon, plan. By 1, complaint filed in federal court. By 2, push alerts hit phones. Navy SEALs file civil rights suit against San Diego police. Malik's notifications detonated, requests, solidarity, strangers' stories flooding in. No interviews yet, Park ordered. Presser tomorrow, controlled room, prepared statements. As they broke, Reeves pulled them aside. You chose hard and right. Your fathers would be proud. Malik swallowed thanks that wouldn't form. You had the courage, Reeves said. I only reminded you that warriors fight at home too. They stepped into hot sunlight different than morning. The air itself seemed to carry purpose instead of simple weather. 2 weeks ago, my biggest worry was nailing a perfect PRT, Tiana said, face to the sky. Now we're taking on a department. We'll win, Malik answered. Not because rank, because truth. She nodded once. They headed to vehicles. Warriors entering a different combat, armed with sworn facts instead of rifles. Tomorrow's presser at the Navy Media Center would frame the narrative. Service members demanding accountability, not rivalry. At or 600, Malik fumbled with dress blues he'd donned 1,000 times. Public speaking rattled him more than gunfire. Tiana texted, I might hurl. He replied, same. Survived worse. We've got this. Hooyah. 0800 prep. Lone CMD year, Rachel Foster, Piao, ran media drills like a ship's inspection. Cameras, lectern, lights. Be authentic, she said. No politician cadence. Speak from the heart. Defer to counsel if legal minds appear. Reeves watched from the back, letting Piao work. Park, Torres, Washington nearby for legal guardrails. Malik, you lead with what? Where, when, Foster said. Tiana, follow with impact, then Q&A. Short, standalone sentences. For 90 minutes, Foster flung barbed questions. Ellison, PTSD diagnosis, skew perception. Malik, combat stress treated, cleared full duty. Hyper-awareness notices real threats. Mallory was real. Brooks playing the race card? Tiana's jaw set. 17 targets, every one black or brown. Questionable probable cause. That's not a card. It's evidence of systemic bias. At 0930, Foster's final notes. Eye contact. Slow. Each sentence must survive isolation. The room jammed with media. National nets, wires, local affiliates, advocacy orgs, veterans, reformers. Malik felt the symbol trap closing. Humans flattened into ammo for culture wars. Reeves murmured, think of Darius. Think of Rosa. Centered. They approached the lectern together. Foster framed context, stepped aside. Malik gripped wood, found cadence. Petty, Officer First Class Malik Anderson, 10 years Navy, 6 with the teams, Bronze Star with Valor. We went to dinner, talked family, ate tamales, he said. At 21:52, Officer Trent Mallory confronted us. Aggressive from approach, refused ID, fabricated suspicion. We complied, de escalated, survived, then spent the night caged. We did exactly what training demands, Malik added. Still, we were arrested and charged. We didn't resist. We existed. He stepped back. Tiana stepped up, smaller in blues, voice big enough for the room. I serve because my father died a Marine, she said. I earned a trident, deployed 4 times, and I was cuffed for eating while black. That betrayal cut deeper than bullets, because badges promised better. This isn't just us, she continued. Mallory has 17 echoes. Nurses, veterans, parents. We're suing for them too, for the ones who can't fight alone. Malik returned. We seek accountability and reform. Power must answer. We're SEALs, he finished. We don't quit. Our mission now is justice for us, for Mallory's victims, for everyone abused by a shield misused. Questions crashed forward. Foster pointed. Washington Post. Any Navy discipline? No, Malik said. Our records are exemplary. Fox. You're combat trained. Why not defend yourselves? Tiana. ROE and proportionality. He wanted an excuse. We chose discipline over pride. Survival first. CNN. Benefit of doubt for police? Malik. Absolutely, when duty's honorable. Respect isn't a blank check. Accountability protects good cops by removing bad ones. For 20 minutes, they parried. PTSD race, Navy's role, aims. A local reporter asked about Mallory's lawyer calling this political theater. Malik's voice went granite. We're service members seeking justice. If accountability equals anti-police, policing's lost its compass. Tiana. Our service isn't a prop. AP. Remain on active duty? Yes, Malik said. Mission first. Lawsuit in parallel. Warriors first. Plaintiffs second. A young blogger. Message to other victims? Tiana. We see you. Don't accept abuse as normal. Speak. We'll stand. Malik closed. Movements begin when someone says enough. We're saying it now. Join us. Foster ended the presser. Backstage, the reality hit. Faces everywhere by evening. Praise and curses braided. Privacy. Over. Mission. Clear. Reeves smiled. A rare, transforming thing. Authentic. Precise. Strong. How bad's blowback? Malik asked. Depends, Reeves said. Reformers will rally. Unions will rage. Pundits will polarize. You told truth. The rest is noise. Washington scanned social feeds. Hashtags trending. Justice for Malik and Tiana. Seals for accountability. Mallory must go. NAACP calling for federal probe. She frowned. Also threats and slander. Calls for discharge. Tiana's eyes sharpened. Threats? We'll loop NCIS and local, Reeves said. Security details on and off base. Nobody touches my people. The day blurred. Debriefs. Risk reviews. Chessboard planning. Exhaustion came not from danger, but relentless scrutiny. That night, Muted TV replayed their presser on loop. Is it always like this? Tiana asked, watching her own pained still frame. Don't know, Malik said, but we're committed. No turning back. Unknown number rang. Petty Officer Anderson? Speaking. Darius Talbot, the nurse. I watched. Thank you for making me believe justice might exist. Malik's throat tightened. I'm sorry for what happened. We'll make sure it stops. I want in, Darius said. Consolidated suit, testimony, whatever. Been living in my car, but I can fight. You won't fight alone, Malik said. Afterward, he told Tiana. She wiped at sudden tears. Hope can ambush too. We're building an army, she murmured. Not with rifles, with truth. Days brought floods, letters praising courage, letters accusing treason to the thin blue line. Social became a battlefield. Strangers weaponized their pain. Moments of grace anchored them. Rosa Alvarez's place overflowed. People crossing town to support the woman who spoke. Veteran groups raised 200 grand for victims. Darius moved into an apartment. Maria stabilized. SDPD circled wagons. The Union staged its presser. Mallory, suitably grave, claimed smear campaign. Just doing my job in dangerous times. Watching, Tiana hurled a cushion. Belligerent, we were textbook compliant. Malik felt something like pity. A man built on unchecked power rarely survives sunlight. Let him talk, he said. Every contradiction is future impeachment. 30 minutes later, Torres called, barely containing delight. Saw it? Gift wrapped contradictions. We've got footage showing courtesy. He claims hostility. Each public lie becomes another nail. Depositions began 2 months later. Malik sat across from Mallory's counsel, Richard Thornton, practiced needler. Thornton went courteous slick. Thank you for your service. Malik recognized choreography, false camaraderie before the blade. Sought mental health care for combat stress? Objection, rephrased. Malik answered plainly, treated, cleared, judgment intact. Hypervigilance can create false threat perception, Thornton pressed. It creates accurate awareness, Malik answered. Useful downrange, useful in parking lots. That night, the threat wore a badge and a smirk. You're combat trained, weren't you the threat? I was a man walking to my truck, Malik said. The only threat was to Officer Mallory's habit of abusing authority. 6 probing hours, calm, facts, discipline, no cracks. Thornton went harder at Tiana, misjudging. Proving yourself as an early woman SEAL, did pressure color perception? Performance proved me, she said. Perception is grounded in reality. He presumed, escalated, fabricated. That's not policing. 17 complaints bandwagon? 17 similar stories, she replied. If 17 patients accuse a doctor, do we blame patients or review the doctor? One by one, victims testified. Traffic stops without cause, cuffs without crime. Darius and Scrubs, job lost. Maria's kids crying curbside. James's PTSD detonated by cuffs for bird watching suspiciously. Most damning, Officer Daniel Ruiz, our early witness, and Officer Jamie Patterson, internal rot described carefully, courageously. Thornton snapped. Why betray your brothers? Patterson. I became a cop to help, not cover criminals in uniform. Silence is complicity. These SEALs fought back. The least I can do is tell truth. Retaliation came fast. Administrative leave, cold shoulders, whispered rat. Patterson leaned on whistleblower statutes and stubborn conscience. Meanwhile, headlines swelled. The DOJ opened a pattern and practice probe. Reform became an election plank. Malik and Tiana still trained, still deployed briefly, dual lives, operators and reformers. The toll showed in shoulders and eyes, but Team, Reeves, and a growing chorus kept them upright and pointed forward. A March letter arrived, handwritten, routed through Navy channels. A grieving parent, 14-year-old autistic son killed. He reached for his comfort toy. No charges. You gave back hope. Real heroism fights injustice at home. Malik read it to Tiana, voice breaking. Silence held grief and resolve. We can't stop, she said. We won't, he answered. This is the mission. June brought courtroom heat and a nation's eyes. On courthouse steps at 0700, cameras sprouted. Protesters split the plaza. Support, defense, and everything between. Hands shook. Good, Malik said. Fear means we care. Means we're human. Reeves arrived. Dress blues. Ribbons like geography. Their whole team in formation. 12 dress blues. A shield of solidarity. Senior Chief clasped Malik. We've got your 6. Inside, Judge Marissa Chen presided, ex-civil rights litigator known for patience and scalpel fairness. Defense tried another continuance. New witnesses. Washington cut it down. Third ask in 8 months, thin as paper. Denied. Jury selection ran 6 hours. Both sides hunting for fairness in human mix. 7 women, 5 men, diverse ages, jobs, backgrounds, instructions given, court adjourned. That night, Malik couldn't eat Rosa's tamales. You're catastrophizing, Tiana said gently. We built this right. Trust the part that works. Morning, Michael Torres opened. Power and accountability. A system that looks away until someone refuses silence. He painted Rosa's kitchen, the ambush, the cell. He framed pattern, departmental indifference, constitutional lines crossed. We'll prove violations and enabling culture, he said. Ask you to say, this ends now. Thornton answered, dedicated officer, dangerous times, split-second safety call. Don't criminalize caution. He humanized Mallory's resume, avoided specifics. Rosa testified first, small frame, steady truth. He grabbed Malik. Tiana's hands were up. He cuffed her anyway. Cross tried distance, bias. Rosa didn't budge. I saw what I saw. Security video erased doubt. The jury watched ID offered. Refusal, compliance, unprovoked escalation. Thornton objected about angles and audio. Images spoke. Then Officer Patterson, culture described, complaints buried, IA rubber stamps, union intimidation. Why testify? Because silence made me part of harm, he said. Cross attacked motives. The sacrifice itself carried credibility. Victims followed. Darius, Maria, James. The chorus consistent enough to drown excuses. Malik took the stand. Service record, character, then the night. Measured and precise. How did it feel? Betrayal, he said. 10 years protecting this country, and treated like none of it mattered because of how I look. Cross swung hard. Trained to kill. Aren't you the threat? Trained to protect, Malik said. Force proportional, justified for good. Mallory abused power. PTSD skew perception? It sharpens danger sense. The danger wore a badge. 3 hours of pressure, no cracks. Tiana followed. Bullets are honest, she said. Badges promise to protect. He used his as a weapon. Playing victim? I'm a survivor, and I won't be quiet about this. Prosecution rested after 9 days. The defense's last card, Mallory himself. On direct, he floated practiced lies. Furtive movement. Felt threatened. Public safety. Crossed by Torres was surgical, relentless, anchored to tape. Competent or cowardly. Objection sustained. Rephrased. Stats showed 70% suspicious activity arrests without charges, 17 corroborated complaints, fabrications laid beside recordings. By exit 50, entitlement slumped into dawning dread. Closings. Thornton's warning. You'll chill policing. Torres answered. Accountability strengthens good cops, removes bad ones. These warriors fought overseas and were assaulted at home by someone sworn to protect. He asked for courage. Instructions delivered, jury out. Waiting gnawed. 1 hour, 2, 4, 6. What's it mean? Anything, Washington said. At 1647, the bailiff. Verdict. The air itself seemed to hold breath as seats filled. The foreperson, Dorothy Williams, read clarity into history, liable on all counts, false arrest, excessive force, malicious prosecution, department failure to supervise, city responsible for enabling pattern. The room detonated joy and shock. Damages, $2.5 million, compensatory, $10 million punitive against Mallory, $15 million against the city earmarked for reform and victim restitution. Malik felt Tiana's grip. Tears finally had somewhere to go. Reeves hugged them both. Your fathers would be damned proud. I'm proud enough for all of us. Outside chaos, microphones, cheers, anger. Malik spoke first. Badges don't float above law. Unchecked power curdles into tyranny. Tiana, this verdict is for Darius, Maria, James, all victims who wondered if speaking up matters. It does. Malik concluded. Most important mission wasn't overseas. It was here. Truth beat lies. Justice, delayed, still arrived. They left the mics together, through joy, fury, cameras, into a future they'd bent with stubborn courage. 3 months later, Mallory stripped, charged, imprisoned. Department reform started, training, oversight, accountability with teeth. They returned to the teams, quiet work preferred, but carried knowledge that something fundamental had moved. 1 year after arrest, they slid back into Rosa's booth, same tamales, same stubborn love disguised as extra food. My dad was right, Malik said, watching sunset through glass. We fight for quiet moments like this. Tiana raised her water. To hard fights, quiet wins, and truth, worth everything it costs. They clinked glasses, two warriors who learned the fiercest battles aren't always kinetic. Courage wears many uniforms, and sometimes change begins simply by refusing to accept inevitability wrapped in policy and procedure. Outside, San Diego settled into evening, families dining, people walking to cars. Unremarkable peace, paid for by relentless service. Somewhere, someone who might have been Mallory's next target walked home safe, reforms humming unseen, saved by two SEALs who didn't let corruption hold the last word. Justice hadn't turned perfect, only possible, and sometimes possible is enough to build on, to defend, and to keep widening for others. The work wasn't finished, it rarely is. But warriors understand campaigns, not miracles. They'd keep showing up with discipline and receipts, making space where fear once stood, until quiet moments belonged to more people. Back at base, a text from Darius Talbot. First day, back at the hospital. Thank you. Malik replied, proud of you. We're not done. Tiana added a heart and the trident. Then they exhaled. Outside, a marine layer rolled in from the Pacific, softening streetlights and headlines alike. In the hush, the medallion Rosa gifted Malik felt heavier, like purpose in his palm, warm and earned. And the city, imperfect and stubborn, kept breathing, its people a little safer, because two of its defenders refused to be quiet. And an admiral remembered what rank is for when truth needs teeth. Rosa locked the door behind them, pressing foil-wrapped tamales into their hands like armor. Eat later, she said. Victory needs fuel. Outside, sirens were distant, waves louder, night air smelling like salt. Back on base, the team waited under humming fluorescence. Nods, brief hugs, a chorus of, proud of you. No speeches. Operators didn't do parades, they did presence, the kind that steadied trembling hands. Reeves gathered them briefly. Tomorrow, stand down from media. Training block stays. Legal handles legal. We handle readiness. Orders crisp, compassion threaded through. Rank wasn't distance tonight. Rank was a windbreak against storms. In Malik's small apartment, the medal from Rosa rested beside his father's worn dog tags. 2 medals, 2 eras, 1 assignment, protect what's fragile, quiet dinners, safe walks, ordinary breaths unmolested. Tiana sat cross-legged on the rug, still in dress blues, texting survivors who'd testified. Replies poured back. Thank you. I slept for the first time. My daughter asked if heroes cry. Sometimes, she wrote. The news cycled verdict clips between ads for car insurance and fast food. Country of contradictions, Malik thought. Numbing routine, sharing airtime with justice, finally waking. He turned the sound off again. A message from Officer Patterson flashed. Internal affairs reopened everything. Risking my badge was worth it. Malik typed back. Truth has a way of finding oxygen. Tiana added, we've got your 6. Blue or not. Sleep came in stutters. Bootsteps in hallways. Gavel echoes. The metallic K-chunk of cell doors shutting. When Malik finally drifted, it was to the rhythm of ocean on breakwater. Persistent. Patient. Morning arrived with coffee so strong it qualified as a weapon. PT still happened. Mile repeats bled adrenaline into usefulness. They'd won, yes. But endurance, not euphoria, kept promises alive. On the run, teammates flanked them without conversation. Formation isn't just geometry, it's a confession. I'm here. I won't drift. Set pace if I fade. Sweat negotiated with doubt until doubt paid rent. DOJ's letter landed by noon. Pattern and practice confirmed. Consent decree forthcoming. Benchmarks, monitors, timelines. The scaffolding of reform. Not fireworks. Measuring tapes, clipboards, new policies born cranky and necessary. The city council convened emergency sessions. Cameras panned over solemn faces, budget spreadsheets, draft ordinances. Reform isn't poetry, it's procurement. Training hours logged, supervisors evaluated, spreadsheets weaponized toward decency. Rosa's kitchen bustled like a harbor at surge. People lined up for enchiladas and a photo with Rosa. She redirected selfies toward donation jars labeled Victim Relief and Officer Patterson Legal. Darius texted a photo of keys in his palm. Apartment, sunlight on thrift store couch, stethoscope looped like a promise over a chair. Orientation Monday. Malik replied, proud. Patients don't even know how lucky. Maria sent a video, her kids racing in a park, free and loud. Caption, first day they stopped flinching at sirens. Tiana watched twice, then a third, each time exhaling a little longer. James recorded birds again, warblers stitching melody through eucalyptus. He tagged it, Take Back the Park. The comment thread read like a vigil turned block party. Neighbors claiming square feet of dignity, one perch at a time. NCIS briefed threats posture, screened mail, adjusted routes, moved cars. Most online bluster, the agent said, but bluster begets copycats. Malik signed the sheet. Threat matrices felt easier than interviews. Reeves walked them through the consent decree's spine. Monitors report quarterly. Training on bias and de-escalation becomes mandatory. IA independence gains teeth. Data goes public. He tapped policy like a map before a raid. Policy isn't culture, Tiana said. Culture eats memos. Reeves nodded. Which is why we stay present, quietly, until new habits become muscle memory. Change sticks when repetition makes it boring. The union fired back with statements about morale, recruitment, the dangers of hesitation. Malik understood fear disguised as swagger. Courage isn't absence of fear, it's refusing to deputize it. Local radio invited them to spar with a pundit. Park declined. No culture war theater. We're done feeding outrage. We'll do school visits, council hearings, community roundtables, spaces where people actually listen. Community college criminology class asked for a talk. Tiana built a deck titled Authority, Accountability, and Honor. Slide 1 was Rosa serving flan. Slide 2 was the Constitution. Slide 3 was a mirror. In the auditorium, a cadet asked, how do I not become that officer? Malik answered, train your fear. Train your empathy. Partner with someone who calls you out. Write reports like the whole city's reading. Another asked, what if my department punishes truth? Tiana didn't blink. Then your courage needs allies. Unions that protect integrity, not impunity. Communities that praise accountability. Supervisors who hate excuses. After the talk, a recruit stayed back, eyes wet. My brother, words failed. Malik squeezed his shoulder. Then wear the badge like a promise he can believe in. The recruit nodded, shoulders squaring. Sunday, they visited Rosa's church for a memorial of her son Miguel. Photographs ringed the altar, Boyd a soldier to folded flag. Grief and pride aren't opposites, Malik thought. They're neighbors who share casseroles. Rosa spoke. We pray with hands and feet. Congregation answered with casseroles, carpools, job leads. Church basements have always been logistics hubs for revolutions that refuse to call themselves revolutions. Weeks blurred, training blocks, legal check-ins, community sessions. Routine reclaimed them. Burpees, boat carries, dry fire drills. The body didn't ask about headlines. It asked for reps until form corrected fate. Torres emailed, Appellate safeguards filed, city's implementation making real progress. Washington added discipline matrix installed, supervisors accountable for patterns they ignore, paper teeth starting to bite through leather. Patterson testified before the council's oversight committee. No theatrics, dates, memos, names. He brought receipts, not revenge. Applause felt dangerous. He preferred the clack of a clerk logging exhibits into permanence. One night on the pier, Tiana asked, "Ever wish we'd taken the settlement?" Malik considered. "Only when I'm tired." Then I remembered Darius's keys, Maria's park, James's birds. Settlements don't buy those. A recruiter called Tiana about a future instructor billet. "Someday," she said. "Right now, my place is operational and occasionally at a podium until the next generation doesn't need podiums." Malik's mother mailed a photo of his father on that porch, son rinsing a long day clean. "He'd be loud about how proud he is," she wrote. Malik laughed. His father had 2 volumes, quiet and louder. A kid at the commissary recognized Tiana. "You're the lady who told the truth." She knelt. "Lots of people told truth. I just happened to have a microphone that day." The kid grinned, gap-toothed. Media calls slowed. Movements need stamina more than spotlight. The case file moved from front page to policy column, which is another way of saying the fire moved from flames to coals that still heat. At a neighborhood watch, an older man asked, "How do we call the cops and still call them out?" Malik answered, "Same way you love family and challenge them. Accountability makes help safer." In training, a fresh teammate asked about the trial. "Hardest part," Tiana said, "staying human on the stand while being treated like a strategy board. Easiest, telling the truth repeatedly until it stuck." Reeves retired that fall. At his ceremony, he skipped platitudes. "My biggest win wasn't operations," he said. "It was remembering rank should lift others' courage. Promotion is simply permission to guard someone's backbone." After taps, he pulled them aside. "You kept me honest. That's rarer than medals." He handed Tiana his challenge coin, gave Malik a fountain pen. "For signing hard things, you'll be tempted to duck." They drove back city streets where headlines had once hunted them. Now the city felt ordinary. Trash day, soccer practice, night shift yawns. Ordinary isn't small. Ordinary is the prize people write oaths about. Outside, San Diego tucked into evening. Families finishing meals, people walking to cars, streetlights yawning on. Somewhere, someone who might have been next walked home untouched. 2 seals had made room for that quiet. Lesson 1: quiet moments are the prize. If you're old enough to remember turning a TV knob and watching moon landings in black and white, you already know the difference between noise and meaning. The noise is the day's uproar. The meaning is a quiet supper with someone you love. The calm ride home on well-lit streets. The dignity of sleeping in your own bed. That's what Malik Anderson and Tiana Burke, 2 decorated Navy SEALs, were protecting long before a bad cop took their wrists and tried to take their names. Their evening at Rosa's kitchen wasn't fancy. Vinyl booths, ceiling fans, and flan. A scene you could find in any American town. But for warriors who have eaten MREs with sand in their teeth, a warm plate at a family-run place is wealth, not luxury. Many of us who are now in our mid-60s and 70s have learned this in our bones. We've stood on porches after long shifts, listened to the crickets, and thought, this is what the fighting was for. Quiet, ordinary, undisturbed. You don't need a medal for that. You need neighbors who care and officials who don't confuse a badge with a license. When Officer Trent Mallory blinded Malik and Tiana with headlights and barked them into handcuffs, what he tried to steal wasn't just a clean record. It was the American promise that ordinary people can eat dinner and go home in peace. Older Americans carry a memory the young sometimes miss. We've seen how quickly peace can be shattered. We remember curfews, riots, the National Guard on city streets, and the way fear can turn public servants into petty tyrants. We also remember what brought neighborhoods back: church suppers, VFW halls, union meetings, PTA moms, and dads with calloused hands who refused to let chaos write the story. Rosa Alvarez did exactly that. She walked out from behind her counter and told the truth to power. first in a parking lot, then in a courtroom. It turns out the most valuable witness isn't always a star expert. Sometimes it's the woman who brings the water pitcher and sees things clearly. Malik's father taught him a lesson many of our fathers taught us. We fight so the next day's dinner is peaceful. The older we get, the more we understand he was right. Quiet isn't small, quiet is victory. Lesson 2: Discipline under fire. The difference between pride and survival. If you served in uniform, worked a factory floor in a dangerous decade, or raised teenagers during hard years, you know what discipline looks like. It isn't loud. It's a choice to hold your tongue when pride says swing back. In the parking lot, Malik and Tiana could have ended the confrontation in seconds. They are professional operators, but they also know the rules of engagement, and they know America has a way of punishing the people who survive unjust encounters by refusing an easy narrative. So they complied, hands on a cold truck, voices steady, eyes clear. Some folks will ask, why didn't they stand up for themselves right then? If you're old enough to have seen a traffic stop go sideways or watched a neighbor's son booked for resisting when he was simply offended, you already know the answer. You survive the moment. You fight the system later with records and witnesses because once the cuffs go on, pride won't spring the lock. Survival is not surrender, it's strategy. Here is the hard truth we learn with age. Sometimes courage means swallowing humiliation so you can live to bring sunlight to the lie. That night, the lie was big. Suspicious pair casing cars, paraphernalia, resisting. None of it true. What did Mallory underestimate? He mistook discipline for weakness. Older Americans have seen this mistake before. A bully assumes the quiet man will stay quiet forever. Then the quiet man shows up with an admiral, a public defender with steel in her voice, and witnesses with sworn statements. That is the day discipline turns into justice. And to my fellow seniors who know the ache of being talked down to by someone with less wisdom and more swagger, take heart. Malik and Tiana remind us that measured responses aren't cowardice. They're the opening move in a long game that ends with receipts. Lesson 3: Community is logistics for the soul. You don't win any campaign, foreign or domestic, without logistics. In our younger years, that meant gas at 89 cents a gallon, carpools to the plant, casseroles after a funeral, and phone trees that could mobilize a church in 15 minutes. Today, the logistics look different. Text threads, GoFundMe links, and videos that spread faster than a town crier ever could. But the principle is the same. People move mountains when they move together. Rosa's kitchen became a staging ground. Witnesses were found over plates of tamales. A kind patrol officer named Ruiz brought a crack in the wall. A public defender, Sarah Chan, carried an overloaded briefcase and a heart big enough to absorb 17 other stories just like Malik's and Tiana's. A Navy Admiral, Jonah Reeves, did what many of us wish more leaders would do. He showed up at 600 and said, "My people will not stand alone." If you're from the generation that watched union stewards put their jobs on the line for fairness, you recognize the move. And then there were the victims whose names don't make headlines. Darius the nurse sleeping in his car, Maria holding the hands of little ones on the curb, James trying to birdwatch his way back from combat only to be cuffed for standing in a park. Community doesn't fix everything, but it turns despair into direction. Money was raised, rides were given, statements were gathered, meals were cooked. A medallion from Rosa's lost son found a new mission in Malik's palm. For those of us who remember block captains and neighborhood watches run on coffee and conviction, this part of the story feels like home. Government can enforce rules and courts can order change. But the thing that stitches a town back together is neighbors choosing to be more than bystanders. That is work for every season and every age, especially ours. Lesson 4: Accountability is boring, and that's why it works. Television loves the gavel bang, the verdict, the dramatic confession. Life is rarely that tidy. Real accountability looks like forms, timelines, policy manuals, and quarterly reports that would put a teenager to sleep in 3 minutes. It is also the reason change sticks. Malik and Tiana learned what every seasoned American knows. Headlines are a tide. Paperwork is a seawall. Commander Elise Park from JAG set the tone. We win with facts, painstaking, boring, unassailable facts. The lawsuit wasn't a rant, it was a map. Who, what, when, where, down to the minute. Security footage, training records, complaint histories, internal affairs transcripts, whistleblower statements, doctor's notes for the red wrists left by handcuffs. It is not glamorous to underline 2152, headlights engaged, officer's hand on holster before any question asked. But those are the bricks that build a case a jury can walk on without slipping. Older readers, we've lived long enough to see reforms promised and then quietly shelved. The difference this time wasn't rage, it was routine. Cameras that can't be shut off. Stop data posted publicly, not hidden in a drawer. Promotion charts that reward de escalation and community respect, not productivity measured by how many people got hassled. A consent decree with teeth, a monitor who files reports even when the news cycle has wandered off. In other words, clipboards, checklists, audits, and consequences. And yes, there was a verdict. Big damages and the message that a badge sits under the law, not above it. But the true win is what came after the applause. A nurse with apartment keys, children playing without flinching at sirens, a veteran hearing birds instead of cuffs, a decent cop protected when he tells the truth, and a department learning that honor isn't a slogan on a cruiser. It's behavior measured month after month. Some will say this is too slow. Those of us who have buried friends and seen too many promises come and go understand slow is how you make it stay. The work isn't flashy, it is faithful. And it's our work too, showing up at council meetings, voting in off years, praising the officers who get it right, and pushing the ones who don't into better habits or out of the job. Conclusion: what we leave behind. If you're 65 or 75, you have already given more than you take. Taxes paid, wars survived, children raised, neighbors helped, pews warmed, and flags folded. The question that hums under quiet evenings is simple: what legacy will we leave? Malik and Tiana answered with their lawsuit, their patience, their refusal to settle for hush money, and their insistence that the next family get home safe from dinner. Admiral Reeves answered by spending rank like it was meant to be spent on other people. Rosa answered with flan, testimony, and the stubborn belief that silence feeds bullies. We don't control headlines. We do control habits. We can keep teaching our grandkids that the right thing is often the hard thing, that discipline is stronger than swagger, and that thank you for your service means standing with those who serve when home soil tests them. Quiet is still the prize, and accountability, steady, measured, sometimes dull, protects it. Friends, after walking with Malik, Tiana, Admiral Reeves, and Rosa, I'd love to hear from you. In your lifetime, when have you seen quiet, steady accountability actually fix a broken practice at a job site, a school, a city office, or a police department? Do you believe lasting change comes from bold moments, from boring routines, or from both working together? Share a memory or a lesson below. If this story brought you value, please tap like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss new stories and practical tools that protect everyday dignity